What's going on, family? Welcome back to Patterson Art Properties. As promised, I said I was going to go live on my channel. Like I said, eventually I will be going live on YouTube and Facebook. For now, it's just Facebook because the current laptop that I have now is not the best when it comes to streaming. It's great when it comes to everything else, but it sucks when it comes to streaming. So I will be getting a newer laptop this year finally so that I can, do the streaming on Facebook and YouTube. But anyways, forgive me, I'm doing some sharing right now, so yep, share, perfect. We got that, cool. Anyways, if you're watching, hit the like button. I'm not gonna be on that long. Like I said, as promised, I said I was gonna go live and talk my ish, as I like to say. Here we go. Boom, like the like button, boom. And my man. All right, cool. So that's that. Okay, so today's subject matter. So you know how it is. You got to get certain things done. You know how the game goes. And that is not it. There she blows. Lord have mercy. All right, so talk about real estate when it comes to putting incomes together. So we know that we're in a time now where even government policy is trying to ensure that people, everyday regular working people, can afford to buy a home and not even a car, with the whole introduction of 50-year mortgages. So, the normal mortgages are between 15 years and 30 years. We live in a time now where people are talking about, hey, inventory is not moving like that. It's somewhat becoming a buyer's market, but if buyers can't afford to buy a house, then it's still not technically a buyer's market, because prices in certain areas around the country have gone down, but they haven't gone down significantly to the point where people are can afford to buy a house. The big word of the day when it comes to things right now is affordability. And then, of course, when it comes to the job market, cuts all over the place. AI is taking jobs, so people don't feel comfortable on signing on the dotted line after signing all the thousands of papers that one signs to say, hey, let me become a homeowner. Because the economic uncertainty is very, very, very real. Okay, I got to say that with all sincerity. The economic uncertainty is very, very real. So with that being said, why would somebody want to sign on the dotted line? You got people that don't even want to buy a car, a good used car or a new car nowadays because of the economic uncertainty, once again. So with that being said, that's one of the biggest reasons why people cannot, one of the biggest reasons why people cannot, I need to pause this because I want to listen to this. People cannot afford to buy a home. But, let's get into some other things in regards to, because really this rant is about, real estate. When it comes to putting two incomes together, when it comes to putting incomes together, when it comes to real estate, everything's bothering me. A lot of people don't want to do that. Some people still have this mindset, I just want to do it by myself. There was a video from TikTok, and it was funny. This guy was talking about his roommate, well, I guess former roommate now, and they were paying, which is ridiculous, $2,400 a month in rent. And I guess in certain parts of the United States, that's considered a good amount of money to pay for, which sound like a 2-bedroom apartment. He didn't get specifics in the kind of place they live in, but for what it sounded like, it was a 2-bedroom apartment. And at the end of the day, the guy that he was a roommate with was his best friend, and the guy was very foolish in regards to quitting his job, putting all this money into the stock market, trying to be a day trader, which not everybody can be. And it's one of the most riskiest things to do if you're not good at it. And they even said all day traders lose money. No matter who you are, whether if you're a day trader or just a regular buy and hold person, money's going to be gained in the stock market. Money's going to be lost in the stock market, just like in real estate. Money's going to be gained in real estate. Money's going to be lost in real estate. This is not rocket science, family. I just got to keep it real when I say this. We all know this. So with that being said, we are definitely in a time where more and more people need to be living like immigrants. I always give immigrants credit when it comes to the ones who put their money together, put their credit together, put their skill sets together, and purchase real estate and open up businesses and whatnot. It's in America right now. We're always using the White House, giving ourselves and ourselves because I know everybody wants to make everything political, and I'm not making anything political because I can't stand politics. But I will say that it so certain things in America are becoming a luxury right now. What certain things that used to be a norm is now becoming a luxury. For instance, becoming a homeowner is becoming a luxury in the United States of America for regular everyday working people. Owning a good car or brand new car is becoming a luxury for everyday working people. Heck, even going to a bar is becoming a luxury for a lot of everyday regular working people because experts, not myself, but experts from economists to even your analysts when it comes to the car market, the restaurant market, happy hour, saying that happy hour is becoming a thing of the past because of remote work, number one. Number two, because the younger generation are drinking less alcohol, which is actually a good thing. A lot of people are indulging in they call the devil's lettuce, which is cannabis. I don't, but to each his own. And then, excuse me, and then people are drinking, not drinking at all, or people are just drinking less because, I'm a fan of sober living. It's just like having a drink or two every now and then, that's cool. But like I said, if you have to be constantly inebriated in life, it's a sad existence, in my personal opinion. I'll leave it at that. But because, especially, shout out to Gen Z and certain millennials, because I'm a millennial. We're saying no to, getting high. We're saying no to drinking alcohol. And because of that, less and less people are doing it. And therefore, a lot of restaurants are suffering from that because like once again, going to a bar is a luxury. I mean, especially if you go to a bar at an airport, you are gonna pay quadruple for everything at an airport when it comes to even fast food. So, but yeah, that's becoming a luxury for a lot of people. So because that's becoming a luxury for a lot of people, those industries are being affected. Owning a brand new car is becoming a luxury for a lot of everyday working people. And there was a time that it wasn't. So with that being said, dealerships are suffering because they have to cut the prices and whatnot because cars are sitting, in inventory. And this is from the horse's mouth from dealerships. And then, of course, when it comes to real estate, the price of real estate has gotten so ridiculous. No matter how much they lower the interest rates and whatnot, this is just my personal opinion. I'm not going to say that I'm right or wrong. I'm just going to say this is how I look at it. If you're everyday, the majority of inventory that moves in real, because before I even get to that, let me just get to it. Majority of the inventory that moves is for everyday regular working people. If everyday regular working people cannot afford to buy homes, then the real estate market is not going to move like the way you want it to. Inventory is going to sit. If regular everyday working people are scared to buy a home because of the possibility of them losing their jobs, people are not going to be able to buy homes. For the last 5 to 10 years now, a lot of people have been having less kids because they can't afford them because they can barely afford to live and take care of themselves. That's why more developers have been building more luxury apartments than they have single family homes, and that's why you've seen a lot of single family homes being soaked up by um, big time corporate investors and things of that nature because they're like, hey, they see a trend of people not being able to afford to buy a home. We want to be able to capitalize on this, so therefore we're going to buy up all the real estate, single family home real estate. And then a lot of people, investors and families, can't even buy a home because they've been outbid by big time corporate investors. So you have all these things that are, and therefore a lot of developers see that, and therefore a lot of developers a lot of major metropolitan areas are building more quote unquote luxury apartments, and even the luxury apartments, if they stay vacant or not, if they're vacant, then obviously the developers can just write it off as a loss. But if they are able to rent them out, then obviously they make money from that all at the same time. So that's the game you're living in when it comes to the real estate market. And my mindset is if more and more people want to own real estate, then the beautiful idea of being a landlord slash person who lives in a house needs to become more of a reality for you. That's the best way to look at it. It needs to become more of a reality. Why do you say that? For instance, the house hacking method, I've talked about this 1,000 times. It's nothing new. It's nothing, not rocket science. It's easy. You buy a house, you rent all the rooms out, and and you have your own space and whatnot. And how long you do this is up to you. But if you put yourself in a position, this is my mindset. If one puts themselves in a position to where they can buy a house, rent the rooms out, to where the point, and they just take care of the utilities to the point where they don't have to worry about paying a mortgage for at least a year or two, and at the most 3 to 5 years, then you put yourself in a great position to be able to save a lot of money and then possibly pay off any specific debts, student loans, credit cards, and then put yourself in a great position to where you can do the most wonderful thing on the planet. What is the most wonderful thing on the planet that you can do? Well, you have the luxury of being able to buy another home after a year or two. You know what I mean? And you have the beautiful thing of being able to have a significant amount of savings. Because the problem with a lot of people, they mock people. Don't ever mock a young person for still being at home between the ages of 18 and 30. Why? Because that person, if they're smart enough, they're not only building themselves up, but they're putting themselves in a great position where they can have two great things. No, three great things. A great credit score, number one. Number two, significant amount of savings. And number three, assets, i.e. cryptocurrency, stocks, bonds, whatever the case may be. Annuities, go from there. But the point of the matter is putting your money together can start at that. I mean, Nipsey Hussle said it best. He was just like, don't rush to move out of your parents' house. You need to be able to put yourself in a position where you're not house poor. Because a lot of people love to buy a house and love to buy house poor and car poor is a big, big thing. I don't understand why people care so much. I'm 43 years old. I don't care what anybody thinks about me. You can think I'm broke as a joke. You don't need to know what I am. But you need to know that I'm going to handle my business. That's all you need to know about me. And if you don't know that, that's even better. Because I'm a Capricorn. We don't mess with people like that. But the point of the matter is, at the end of the day, is that this is a great way to put money together. Heck, a married couple, power couple, should be able to utilize each other's talents, credit, and money in order for them. They could build. I mean, let's just be realistic. A married couple could have, if they got their stuff together, they could have up to 6 houses or more between each other by utilizing the house hacking method and whatnot. Meaning that you buy a house, you live in a house for a year, and then you have roommates. You have these people pay the mortgage and whatnot. Put money together, wait a year or two, buy another house, and just by utilizing, say it's Mary and Jeff. Jeff buys the house in his name first. Then they rent the rooms out for like a year, and then they buy another house, because they paid down the debt on the property and whatnot. Everything's in good standing. They've saved themselves a significant amount of money. Then they buy the next house and put it in Mary's name. All right. And then, I mean, heck, if this was me, I would take equity lines of credit or utilize the money that I have saved and whatnot and buy properties via tax sales, tax liens, and things of that nature. Have those properties, fix them up if I have the money and the time, or just sell them as is in order for me to buy cheaper properties in other states like Mississippi, Alabama, Ohio, Kentucky, etc., and so forth. But the key word of this, the key meaning behind this rant is partnership and togetherness. Enough people want to go all out of their way, unfortunately. They want to go all out of their way to be basic and, do things the old-fashioned way, meaning that, they just want to buy a house on their own, or just get married, have kids, and buy a house, and then they're house poor because they don't have a significant amount of savings and they don't have other streams of income. A house is not an asset unless it's giving you income. Nothing's an asset unless it's giving you income. And unfortunately, people still want to live under this old Brady Bunch stigma of, oh, we got a nice house, we got a nice garage, we got this barbecue pit, and let's show it off to people that we don't really like or know, or show off to people that we do really like and know. But we're not in a position where we're generating income from this house, and therefore it's not the asset that it should be in 2026. So that's all I can say. Like I said, I wasn't going to be on here long. I just wanted to talk about people putting their money together, friends, family, married couples, people thinking outside of the box. The information I've put out here is stuff that people have utilized on a regular basis, and that's why a lot of families, specifically from other countries, are able to own so much real estate, own so many businesses, because they're taking equity lines of credit from the home and purchase a business or purchase other homes. Then, of course, if they're in good standing with the bank or the institution that they're utilizing, credit union, then they put themselves in a great position where they can do what? They can actually, if they have a successful business, then if they can qualify for a business loan, then they could take that money and get more businesses or enhance the business that they have or buy more real estate. It's not rocket science, but what do I know? So, anyways, on that note, family, do great three things. Like, share, and subscribe. Have a great day. Make money moves and get liberal like a fool. Say in Spanish. Welcome to life. Remember, passing on properties, wholesale real estate in the DMV area, Reading, Pennsylvania area, Harrisburg, Philadelphia, all that triangle of Eastern Pennsylvania. Take care. I'll see y'all later.